what's on your mind.
Hey there, this is Cooper from Telepathic Bunny Comics, along with Aaron from What's Bane and Shadowpunk, hanging out on a Labor Day. Right where I'm at, it's raining right now, so we got a lot of pissed off people, probably.
That's probably true. That's right.
Yeah. Anyway, anybody wants to pop on, that link's over there. That should be live, I think. Anyway,
So
whatever
I
location.
thought that we already did a Labor Day show.
No, I don't think we did.
No, last week we did.
No, we did a redo of 14th because I had to race that one.
Oh.
Oops.
Yeah. There's Mr. Will. What's up, dude?
Hey.
What's
Hey.
up?
Greetings. Yeah, we're just hanging out on Labor Day. So we did an interesting little like love stream discussion the other night, talking about the jobs we hated. So I
All
thought
of them.
Well, no, there you go. Where was you, man? I didn't have any grist for the meal. Everybody's like, "Well, I love my job actually very much. You know, I love my coworkers. I never had a really bad boss." And like,
Life is good.
come on, man. Except for Luke, who was like, "Oh, I fired people. Yeah, he's really creative about firing people, or he quit dramatically." But anyway.
Oh, I don't think I can tell some of my stories on here.
Well, can I say one thing? I was thinking about the last time we talked with Will, and I was at the shop. I was at the store the other day, and it occurred to me
right.
what his job would be, because what he described when he was growing up made a lot of sense.
Hell, Shadowhawk talks.
So he was saying that when he did martial arts, that he had a real heavy hand. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you should have been a professional wrestler like Ric Flair, where you can just wham, you can just smack people and knock them out. Because some people had that quality.
One night, with my friend and former drinking buddy, who no longer drinks, might have something to do with me.
Good for him.
We used to do Jaeger bombs.
Oh no!
If you're not familiar with the Jaeger bomb, we made them in pint glasses.
Nice.
So it would be like a half a can of Red Bull, and the rest would be Jägermeister.
Oh no,
dude!
And I would do those like I would drink those down. I'd do those like normal shots. Like the way normies would do a shot, I would do a shot, but it was a pint glass.
Oh,
jeez, man.
So you're also one of these people that can handle their liquor.
Well,
I mean, when I say handle, I mean you're not like me, where you have one beer and you're like, "What the fuck is going on?" Right? You're not like that. Yeah.
That's my girlfriend. I didn't even know I was dating Shadowpunk. What the
I hear the friend stopped drinking because Will himself got a little heavy-handed. Oh, okay.
Seriously. I mean,
So we're my buddy Kenny and I were both like big wrestling fans.
Sure.
And we were bar hopping. We were at like our fifth bar doing Jaeger bombs. And he goes, "I'm done, dude. Just beer for the rest of the night for me." And something about me telling him not to be a bitch and giving a Ric Flair knife edge shot might have caused him to feel like he was starting to have a small heart attack.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, he already said I'm done.
But I was drunk, so I forgot we did that. And when we got back to the bar around 12:30 that we worked at, I did it again. He swung at me. I ducked, and one of the other people sitting at the bar caught a black eye.
Yikes.
Okay.
Oh man. Oh, I love it. Bar stories, man.
When I was to make a super quick story, when I was in New York once, we were in a bar, and my friend has this thing where he's one of those people. He's Filipino.
Yeah.
So when he has this thing where they fly into a rage, and then later they don't know what they did, or they do know, but they couldn't control themselves.
Right.
So these bouncers are at the bar, and these are they look like big Russian guys. Okay, in leather jackets and shit. Yeah. And we had a huge table loaded with glasses and stuff, with liquor, and he got drunk, and he's just sitting there, and he's like, and then he goes wham, and he smashes all the glasses, right? And these bouncers were on him. He's like a small guy, right? He's like 5'6" and Filipino, right? He's not. So they were on him with their hands around his neck, and they got him the heck out of there. People do crazy shit when they drink, man.
It's my favorite. One of my favorite Ron White stories is that he got arrested in New York for being drunk in public. He's like, I was drunk in a bar. They threw me out in public.
Oh my God.
Do you have any other aliases besides Ron Tater Salad?
Ron Tater Salad White. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. If you've never heard him, you need to listen to him. He's hilarious. We got Indie Wrestling Aces over here. Hell Peeps, what's up, dude?
Welcome.
Hey.
And Mel Big Mo Big says you followed the chop with a vintage heart punch, but yeah.
Oh shit.
Sometimes.
Did you try the quarter blood technique?
Yeah. The only person I ever recall doing the heart punch was Undertaker when he was Mean Mark Callis used to do the heart punch.
Yep.
Oh wow.
And that's the only person I ever known to do that. But
Off the top rope.
well, he didn't do the heart punch off the top rope, but he did like a elbow drop off the top rope. You know, he'd walk out on that thing and jump, and it's like, holy crap! I still to this day don't know how he does it.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, okay? But it's always been my impression that when you compare fighting styles, kung fu, karate, jiu-jitsu, whatever, it always occurred to me that these wrestler guys are the last guys that you don't want to mess with, because they're big enough to take your punches, no problem.
Right.
And once they get a hold of you, it's basically over.
True.
Right.
And they're not the guys like me that are normal sized.
Yeah.
Whatever. They're guys that their hands are like marks or something, where they're like this big, right?
Right.
Boom, you're just done. Not to mention they're skilled enough to break your body.
Well, I mean, when you see the success that what is his name? He's a big white guy with a flat top. He went into MMA for a while. Was just like ragdolling people.
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar. Yeah. The only thing that stopped him was that he got like sepsis, and he had to have a core surgery, and they started targeting that when he went back in the ring. That's the only thing that stopped him, because he was just killing people in that thing. But yeah, and
it's because Brock would sucker punch people off the get-go. Like somebody be sizing him up, and like he would be, you don't expect him to be as quick as he is for a big dude.
Right.
And he's so quick that he would just like sucker punch you.
Yeah.
You know, because like if I was in a bar fight, because I was working at the bar, I would sucker punch somebody too, because I don't like to get hit. I don't think anybody likes to get hit.
Right.
But, you know, I remember seeing a T-shirt that said "Rock, Paper, Scissors, Throat Punch, I win."
Yeah.
And you know that was pretty much it. You know, it's either I'm gonna punch you in the throat,
right,
or I'm gonna put you in a lock where you're gonna lose oxygen real quick.
Well,
I'll tell you, that's crazy shit. You don't. I mean, I'm afraid to do stuff like that. Don't you think that you could kill somebody?
I mean,
yeah,
you
yeah,
probably
yeah.
could.
Well,
At the time, I would be more concerned of me not dying.
Right. Well, I'm a big wrestle aficionado, and I know a lot of the stuff behind the scenes and things like that. And I like one of the baddest guys that's ever been in wrestling was Kurt Angle, believe it or not. Kurt Angle was no joke.
Right.
You know, he won the gold medal for wrestling in the Olympics
That's right.
with what was technically a broken neck.
Dang.
Wow.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Look it up.
Two of them, not 2 broken necks, 2 gold medals.
Yeah. Yeah. But we didn't talk about leverage and things like that. He had people early on that tested him and he just like flipped them, man. You know, some guys that thought they were bigger and badder than him. And he would just like flip them, put them in arm bars and stuff like that. Cause he was like, you know, he's Greco-Roman, right? And Greco-Romans, they just don't play. I mean, you know, it's a serious, it's a martial art basically, you know.
It's always been my observation that if you combine natural talent with skill, then you really got something serious at that point. Because it's like for a bad analogy, it's like when Aragorn picks up the sword, he's fighting that orc and he's getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
The second you give him a weapon or skill, now it's totally different. And a guy like that, Kurt Angle, man, you're totally fucked.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. No, totally. Hello all. Hail panel. And hail chat.
Hey, wise.
Hey, wise guys. Well, I was watching this thing yesterday, and it was a outtake from this movie called Never Surrender, and it was it showed from like a crow's eye view of remember that one where the capoeira guy was like dancing around the ring doing all these kicks and stuff, and then he tries to do these backflips coming at this guy, and he just timed it perfect and just
I saw that.
laid him out.
The guy that knocked him out was a Marine.
Yeah, right,
Ooh.
right. But he just laid him out. I mean, solid. And it looks so realistic that a lot of people think it actually happened. But the thing about it is though, that capoeira, that martial arts, it's a lot of dancing around, a lot of timing, you know, a lot of flips and stuff like that. But all of it's timing, and all of it leaves you have to have one foot planted to do all that stuff, or one foot or one hand, and it's not considered a serious martial art in fights because, you know, it's really flashy, but it's not really effective. You know,
there's a guy who's famous for supposedly beating up Bruce Lee, and I don't know if it's true.
Nobody. His name is Nobody.
No, that is a lie.
This guy was a stunt. News. He was a wrestler, stuntman guy.
Okay.
And boy, there's a thing with Quentin Tarantino tells a story.
Oh, that
basically, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. It was Once Upon a Time in what was it? Hollywood, something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in real life, there's a big guy, and he would train other people to fight in movies. And he was a big dude. He was like a Dick the Bruiser type guy.
Right.
I guess. I don't know. You don't even know if it's true. I mean, honestly, Bruce Lee, you'd have to catch him. That's the problem. How are you going to catch a guy like that fast? But the second you catch him,
right.
I mean, I don't think there's much of a chance anymore.
Well, the thing,
there would be no chance. I mean, he was Kato. Come on.
Yeah. Well, the thing that made him so scary. The thing that made him so scary was not just that he was fast, but when he landed with a ton. I mean, you seen the 1-inch punch demonstration,
right?
Where he was this far away from the guy, and he sent the guy backwards into a chair and off the chair and slid across the stage.
It was so crazy, man.
Yeah.
But you're also assuming that if he's fighting a big dude, that he's capable of doing something like that. Right. I'm not saying he isn't. I'm just saying I don't know. Because shit gets crazy when there's a giant guy ready to tear you apart.
Well, I mean, that to be honest, the prevailing wisdom is a good big guy will beat a good small guy every time. But it does depend on if the level of good that small guy is.
And there's a lot of variables in there. Like if you're how fast are you?
Right.
Could you even catch a guy like Bruce Lee?
Exactly.
2 words: pressure points.
Yeah.
I do think the main thing that we should be looking at is like stamina. If Bruce Lee can outlast him and he can tire him out, maybe.
Right. Well,
that's a good point.
I don't know what this is. He didn't complete the thought, but I think there's a story about Bruce Lee reaching out to different types of fighters to understand the pros and cons of other styles, and one of those was a boxer who might have beat him.
I think it was he might have beat Muhammad Ali or something like that.
Okay. Might have knocked him to the ground, which helps him study how he might have to adjust Jeet Kune Do. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I think he did do that.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that the guy only did it once.
So, I'm talking about Bruce Lee traveling around to learn different styles.
Yeah.
Okay, but let's settle this. So, do you really think that Kurt Angle couldn't beat the shit out of Bruce Lee?
I don't know.
Well, I think he would have to. I think he would have to, because Bruce Lee was a striking fighter, and Kurt Angle was a grappler. So I think he would have to get him in the grapple. If he did get him in the grapple, but he'd have to get to the grapple first. So that's the big problem.
And also, Kurt Angle does have knees.
Always the student. Yeah,
he does. But knees only go so far compared to like strikes and kicks.
Yeah, right.
No, I mean knees in the sense that they're weak points that somebody like that can just hit them and break them. And assuming that you could,
Well, the thing about when you talk about the striker as opposed to grappler, I remember this MMA fight between the Iceman and the guy they called the what was his name? Anyway, he's like the best.
Liddell?
Yeah, Chuck Liddell versus they called him like the Beach Madman, something like that. He was a grappler.
Okay.
Anyway, he was like the best grappler, and he was like on a winning streak, and he came up against Chuck Liddell, and he went to shoot for Chuck Liddell's legs, and Chuck Liddell just went. And it's supposed to be a big fight, and everybody was expecting a big fight, and he was over in first round.
Wow.
He caught him coming in, and that guy was never the same. He pretty much was out of MMA after that. But Chuck Liddell just clopped him coming in, and that's always the big conflict when it comes to fighting, But Bruce Lee, I mean, he went up some pretty sizable guys over the years. I mean, one of his students was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. So we're talking 7'3" with that reach. So he did fight bigger guys.
I always got the impression that Bruce Lee had what sprinters would call fast muscle fiber.
Oh, quick twitch,
where you like normal people can't move that fast, and you're lucky. And by the way, let's face it, Bruce Lee's most powerful component was his charisma. He had freaking charisma. So like all those come together in one person, you're like, that's it, right? Right. That's fire right there.
Yeah. There's never been a combination like that since, pretty much. That's why
you're totally right. Look at all the action stars that tried to do it, and they're good, but they're not like that. They're not freaking cool.
Yeah,
right?
The closest has come is Jackie Chan, but Jackie Chan, I don't know that.
Chuck Norris.
Yeah, Chuck Norris. Yeah, Chuck Norris.
But Chuck Norris is as cool as he is. He's 2-dimensional compared to Bruce Lee.
I'll let him know you said that, Shadowpunk.
Oh God!
Come on, buddy! Roundhouse, baby.
They had Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris had a fight in the hotel to determine who was the better, and they said they fought all over that motel. Chuck Norris has never said who the winner was, but he said, oh yeah, we had it out, we fought it, and he said we were friends and we sparred and stuff like that. But then when he asked Chuck Norris to be in the Enter the Dragon, Chuck Norris is like, "Oh, I see. You just want to beat the world champion because he held the world champion belt at that time."
Oh, you wanted to put him in the movie so that he can show that he beat him.
Yeah, but then Bruce Lee's like, no, I want to kill the world champion. And if you see that in that fight at the end, he actually pulled chest hair out of his hand, out of his chest, and goes.
It's also like a Western people have body hair like that, and Asians don't have it as much, right? Yeah. It's like you're like an animal. You're like Grizzly Adams or something, right?
Right. Yeah, I mean that's a big but yeah. So I mean it's hard to separate the legend from the reality with him, and I've watched several deep dive videos where people have actually talked to people that sparred with him and things like that.
Yeah.
And the guy that was like doing the documentary, he says, and I've come to the conclusion that there's no way to separate legend from reality because the people that were with him at that time still speak of him in such legendary tones that you're not sure if it's what they remembered or is what they built up in their heads.
Sure.
But the guy played.
Go ahead.
Yeah. No, go ahead.
No, you're talking about his buddy, his tall buddy.
Which one?
I think he means like anyone who's ever known him and talked about him.
Yeah.
No, I guess his real buddy was the tall guy that he was like a villain in his movies, and he had kind of like white guy. And
he's a white guy.
He fought him a couple different movies. And he was he looked like a sinister type dude.
Oh, okay.
You recognize him like that. Anyway, he was his buddy, I guess. They were like off stage, they were like kumbaya. And
right.
I guess from what I heard is that I think maybe I mentioned this before, is that he would send him drugs, cocaine and stuff through the mail when he was
no.
I'm telling you.
This again.
Are you trying to say he does drugs?
I remember that. I thought it was fake chest hair. Was it real chest hair? Well, it's never been determined because Chuck Norris has never specified if it was real or not. It looked real to me, though.
I hope it's fake. That must have hurt like hell.
I mean, Bruce Lee has had some real instances on set. I remember the one time Jackie Chan was talking about how he was an extra in one of his movies, and Bruce Lee punched him so hard in the head, it fucking hurt. And when Bruce Lee was still alive, he always used to play the joke saying that like his head was hurting, and Bruce Lee would always apologize.
Right. Yeah. That was he had a reputation for what they would call in wrestling for working stiff, which means that he didn't always pull his punches, completely, and so people that worked with him had to know that there were going to be times where he really hit them. He tagged them pretty hard, for.
Oh, I thought for sure there was going to be a Viagra joke in there.
No. No. Anyway, but the thing about it is you reach the level of physical prowess that he did. He pushed the boundaries farther than really he should have. He pushed them further than mankind should go. His body fat was like extra. Minuscule.
Right.
And
which is not healthy if you do that too long.
No, and he trained harder and longer than humans are supposed to. And so in the end, what happened was that he was like taking pain medication, and he took an experimental pain medication, and it wound up giving him an aneurysm. But he kept pushing and pushing and pushing the envelope. And so that's why he died in like 32 years old,
People say I look like Bruce Lee.
Oh, really?
All the time.
Were their eyes closed at the time?
They were serious, I'm telling you.
Okay. All right. If I took my glasses off, which you kind of resemble him.
See, now I look like him.
Anyway, well, we got a General Piggy over there. Hey, General Piggy, what's up, dude?
Hey.
And Nathan Rita, cool. What's up, man? Yeah, well, I mean, when it comes to wrestling, though, there's been some like real amazing feats that I've seen in wrestling. Talking about Brock Lesnar earlier. You guys remember when he got the giant and actually slammed him into the ring, and it was so heavy that the whole entire thing collapsed.
Really?
Yeah, he got the giant up and suplexed him back into the ring.
What giant is this?
Yeah.
The big one. I don't know. The Big Show. They call it the Big Show.
Okay.
Yeah, he got him up. He actually got him up into the air and suplexed him back into that ring. I was, it was just like, it's like a big. They were having big conflict at the time, and Giant was always bragging that no one's ever got him off his feet, and yeah, I mean, he's what, 7'6"?
Is he really?
No, I could have sworn that some other people did that too.
Oh yeah.
Well, at that particular time, but I think it means somebody lift him off his feet or whatever. And
didn't John Cena freaking F5 him?
That's possible.
Yeah,
that's possible. It might have been after Brock
Well,
Lesnar
I've seen like interviews with him after he retired, before he went over to AEW.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, goes, yeah, I could take a finisher like nobody's business. That's why Vince kept me around so long, because they needed like a big thud to go down in that arena. They'd call me in, and I'd beat him up for a while, but then they'd, out of nowhere, they'd go all Hulkster on me and hit me with their finishing move.
Mm-hmm.
And look at me, he goes, I can take a hit from anybody.
Well, if you look into that, though, I mean, if you look at some of the athletes that have been in wrestling, people like Robert Van Dam, RVD. I mean,
letters confuse me.
The things that guy could do in the ring, my gosh. I mean, talk about an athlete. Jeez Louise. I remember the Great Muta. Remember the Great Muta? Anybody?
Oh yeah, the Mist.
Yeah. But he would like do a cartwheel and all the way and hit somebody in the corner. And it was the first I've ever seen do that.
That's cool.
But that was back in 70s, man. 70s into 80s. But he was this little Asian guy, and he had he had red pants, and he painted his face red, and he also his trick was to spray like red paint into people's faces. I don't know what it was, but that he was the first one to do that. Anything you see Kojiri do later on to Jerry, that he basically stole all that from Muta. But
that was back in the great old days of the
Japan wrestling, great
Japan wrestling, and then he came over to the Dallas Sportatorium,
right?
The home of the Von Erichs.
Oh, right. Was it? Oh, he was with the Von Erichs for a while. Wow, goodness gracious.
Well, he wasn't in the Von Erichs, but they wrestled in that league down south when there were still like old territories.
Right. Well, I mean, that's a good example, though. I mean, you talk about the toll that stuff would take on people.
Totally.
I mean, there's one person living out of that whole entire family of about 8 kids, and there's only one living. Kevin Von Erich is the only one living out of all of them.
They've all died under
some mysterious circumstances, or not so mysterious. I mean, they either committed suicide or they just they died or died young. But
they either committed suicide. Some of them were like ODs, which is a form of committing suicide, and
so their family's into crazy shit that we don't know about, is what you're saying.
And some of them, have been found dead, like their hotel rooms,
right.
That everybody, suspected that they were murdered because, things get a little wild once you start getting that Ric Flair money.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, no doubt.
it's
But
almost
now
like
Ric
the,
Flair doesn't have Ric Flair money, so he's doing commercials and
Right.
charging
Yeah.
people $200 for an autograph.
it kind of
dude,
reminds me
I know,
of like,
right?
Ric Flair though, Ric Flair's Ric Flair, man.
he's one in
Yep.
a million.
He talked the game so much that he thought he was the game.
Yeah, and you know what? For a while he was.
Yep.
For a
It's that
while he was.
personality, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that kayfabe, man. I mean, sometimes those people go so far into that they think it's real. And there's been, I mean, mental illness happens a lot in like a wrestling. A lot more than people want to talk about.
But you know, when you talk about jobs or something, you think traveling around that much, and then you don't live at a home; you live in hotels, right? And that's got to take a lot of wear and tear on somebody psychologically.
Yeah.
Where you're like, you know, stability isn't really your thing. And by the way, you're also getting beat up every day.
Right.
I mean, there's different kinds of problems. Like, let's say you're a baseball pitcher, right? I mean, your whole life is your rotator cuff.
Right.
If that goes, it's over, right?
Yeah,
and that's like,
much.
or like your knees is like a running back, you know?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, artists don't really have those particular problems.
No.
I mean, they're not going to make zillions, but you know.
Well, I think wrestling is what's really punitive about wrestling is the amount of impacts your body has to take because it's not real and because you're not actually damaging one another, then you can reset and do it again tomorrow night. But the thing about it is doing all these things and landing like you're landing all the time, eventually the cumulative effect is going to cause damage,
Probably.
Yes.
And hold on a second. 200 an autograph shouldn't be really a thing in modern day due to cell phones. Yeah, but it's Ric Flair though. It's Ric Flair. So.
Oh, he $200 an autograph?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Right. Well, I mean, but you have people like a guy who's not spoken in wrestling circles, but at one time was one of the biggest in the sport. His name was Chris Benoit.
Oh no! I know.
Didn't he like kill somebody or something?
He killed his
He
family.
murdered his family and committed suicide.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Killed his family and
Does
committed suicide.
anybody know why he did that?
He just
no, they think it's because of all that the head trauma. Because his finishing move was a headbutt off the top rope. And a lot of people said he was way too stiff with it. So, in other words, he was really colliding with people when he did it. But they called him the Rabid Wolverine, and the whole thing was that he was not quite there. He was borderline crazy. But behind the scenes, people were like, "Oh, he's really that way," And there's a lot of warning signs, but they basically he kept begging them for contracts every time. They're like, "Oh, you need some time off," and he'd beg them for contracts,
Really?
And eventually they're like, "No, you have to take time off," and that's when he, during the time off is when he killed himself and his wife and kid. That was what's that called? The head trauma thing?
Yeah, like the football players get.
Yeah. I mean that's that's a real thing. Junior Seau,
the football players that I never really understood is that the industry makes so much money,
right?
And if head trauma is such a problem, couldn't they just make better ultra kick-ass helmets from Tony Stark or something?
Go ahead, Aaron.
Technically, they did, but I think that they just don't want to improve the model, or they think that the model is good enough as it is. Because back when football actually started, you literally just had the helmet, and there was no padding or anything in it.
Yeah, they call them leatherheads.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well,
it looks cool as shit, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Well,
I'm so old. I remember when hockey players didn't have to wear helmets.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's hockey is a whole nother thing, right?
Yeah.
You're like, these guys are huge guys. Some of these guys, like Bob Probert, who's a Red Wing guy.
Yeah.
I mean, someone told me they met him once, and my friend was a big guy.
Uh-huh.
Well, he's probably like Mark or something, where he's physically, And so he's like, yeah, I'm like, that guy's freaking huge. His hands are like mitts.
Oh yeah, Zdeno Chara that used to play for the Bruins is like 7'6".
Right.
Really?
Right.
His slap shot goes over 200 miles an hour.
Dang.
Yeah, that's a thing, man. The slap shot, man. That's the speed
Speaking
of a
of
slap
slap
shot.
shot, the movie was great, and
is that the one with Paul Newman?
Old time hockey. Let's do it. Old time hockey. Eddie Shore, and then all of a sudden it's just blood on the ice, right?
Right.
And I mean, that's a cool movie. They don't really make movies like that anymore. There's something about
really.
the way they
Not
write
really.
movies where
No, they just make remakes now.
Right. Even something like Ron Burgundy, which is pretty funny. You go, it's just structured different. It doesn't feel like a real life. It feels like alternate world life where people behave completely and talk different.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, there's a Baz over there.
Hey Baz.
I think we already said hey. Yeah, we said hey. What's up, dude? But yeah, we need to talk about the lack of creativity in modern movies and stuff like that. I think it all comes down to I think everything comes down. Of course, you know me. It's always down to the writing. I think the writing rooms is where it begins and ends. Myself. Hold on 1 second. What's up, crew? Hey, old chat. Happy Labor Day. How about pour another home brew and start making pizzas?
Hey, sounds good.
There you go. But yeah, I think it's all. I mean, yeah, I think everything that's wrong in modern entertainment is all down to the writing. Every last bit of it's down to the writing. I mean, because even how many movies do we have in our repertoire that where the visuals really weren't all that good, but we still love them because of the writing?
Well, Slapshot is one of those. It looks like normal lighting. Everything's natural lighting.
Right. But what makes it awesome is not necessarily the visuals, but it's the awesome writing is in there.
Right.
But then you have something like Dune, the one that David Lynch did. That was just weird. I mean, weird, and he rewrote so much of it that it wasn't really Herbert's book anymore, and so. It's just basically spectacle, and everybody's bored to tears because of the pacing's just so glacial.
I'll say
was that the new one or
no? The previous one in the 80s with all the weird stuff in it.
As much as I think you're totally right, actually, I think that's a pretty good way to say it. I really do like the original the Lynch version. Because I thought the visuals are so evocative.
Yeah.
Right? They bring out things in everybody. Like even the Mentats look cool.
Yeah.
And in the new movie, I thought it's so detracted from that stuff.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It's very like large environments, small people, very dry, and which is a cool style, but man, if I had to choose, I would choose the first one. That would be my preference.
Yeah, I prefer the Lynch version, but I prefer the Lynch version that's not the director's cut. The one that was like cut for movie theaters. The one that where they edited. Yeah, they kind of like took the reins from him and edited it down.
Right.
That's actually a pretty decent movie, but you get his like original vision. And that thing will put you to sleep, man. It's so long.
Remember at the beginning of the movie, the princess is describing setting the setting. She's describing everything, and then like it goes, and then she goes, "Oh wait, and one more thing," right at the end of her little monologue.
Right.
And I'm like, I mean, this is a cool movie, but your narrative just got broken. It sounds stupid to do that.
Yeah,
right?
it does.
And I remember thinking, it's like already there's a weird timing issue with this movie.
Right.
You nailed it, I think.
Yep. Let's see. They're hiring a lot of inexperienced writers based off of gender and their politics.
Come on, they would never do that.
No.
They just want to make money. They would lose money if they did that.
I think, you know, yeah, we kind of touched on it the other day, but the Brokeback Spider-Man, the Spider Girl with the, you know, the
Good Lord.
wheelchair. Yeah, right. But that particular one, anytime you see any defense of that, it's not defense of the Spider-Man, it's defense of the person who wrote it. Because she happens to be like progressive stack queen at the moment.
You're talking about the new Spider-Man, the Tom Holland Spider-Man?
Yeah. T. Franklin wrote it, and she is as follows. Okay, person of color, bisexual, former sex worker, and and she's handicapped. She's physically handicapped.
Does she have a hairy lip? If she has a hairy lip, she can get,
that's the only thing she doesn't have, probably.
She's the queen of victimhood at that point.
Yeah, she's the queen of the progressive stack.
Oh, God, the victim. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'll tell you, when I watch the Spider-Man movies, those ones you're talking about, it's exactly, that makes sense because I think he's really good as Spider-Man. I like the kid. Okay. But Tom Holland. But I'm watching the story and I'm like, falling asleep. This is not connecting at all. Right. And it's probably because of the thing. I didn't know that.
No, we're talking about the present comic book that has a Spider-Man in it. She's in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
So and she spins her webs out of her crutches.
No way.
Yeah. Yes. Way. Yes, wait.
If this idea was any worse, it would have been written by Amelia What's-Her-Name that played Mother of Dragons. Where the woman's superpower was her menstrual cycle.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah.
And she spun webs through her armpit here because, feminism. Yeah. It's not feminism anymore. It's just a man-hater club.
Yeah, it's called Mother of Madness, and it's by Amelia Clark.
Wow.
I mean, she was like her name was on it, but it was ghostwritten by somebody else, probably.
True. If it was ghostwritten, that's weird because if you're a ghostwriter, the first thing they must not have known how to do comics because the first page was littered in words.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm sure they assigned her somebody that didn't know what they were doing either.
They gave her a novelist.
Did you?
That would have been a book that I would have bought just to use as kindling for the campfire.
Right.
Oh, dang.
They did a what is her name? She is on she does a lot of stuff all around CG. She is on like Comics Mate all the time. What is her name? She's a really sweet lady. She did the voiceover for Perfect 10. I forgot. I can't remember her name, but she did and somebody else did like a dramatic retelling of the Mother of Madness. They did like a dramatic reading of it, and she said it was just hilarious just to read it out loud. And I can imagine so.
Have you guys seen the new Predator movie?
I didn't bother.
Prey?
I didn't bother. Prey.
Okay, so I'm gonna just say I found it on BitChute the other day.
Right.
So I downloaded it. And I watched it. It was not that bad. And as a movie, honestly, it was pretty good. Yeah. And she's also like kicking ass and knows everything, right? And the man, but it really turned out to be a much better movie than that. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a fulfilling, just like action flick.
Right.
So like if you didn't have to pay for a streaming service, so like if it was on Tubi or Pluto and you watched it, you'd probably enjoy it. You still wouldn't believe that a 15-year-old Apache girl could kill a predator, but
Right. I mean, it is a stretch. All those,
but I now want to tie a chain to a tomahawk and use that as my weapon.
I'll tell you something. When she did that, I remember going, "Does that really work?" She made it almost turned into like she could do it like any second she wanted, right? Like Whiplash in the comics.
Well, see, that's the thing, though, Shadowpunk. You just said it's a little far fetched.
It kind of was.
If it was written, or at least if it was conceptually correct, then it wouldn't be far fetched. That's the thing.
There is a rule, I think, where you go, is it in the realm of conceivability?
There you go.
Yeah,
there you go.
And I guess it is conceivable, but because people do shit like those guys that run up the walls like in Assassin's Creed. Those I would never think that's possible. So maybe the axe thing is possible, but in my mind I don't think it is. Right, because axe is sticking to things, right?
I've developed zero tolerance when it comes to female action stars. Okay,
right.
I've gotten to where I have almost no tolerance whatsoever for some scrawny little female being able to beat somebody up. Okay,
right.
If a woman has any chance against a man, they have to look like Gina Carano. They have to have this. They have to be stocky. They have to be muscular, and they have to be able to move like they know what they're doing. And I see time and time again where these action stars, quote unquote action stars. Now, if they have superpowers, I'll go with that, right? But if they are supposed to be, just human as anybody else, then there's no way they're going to win a one-on-one combat with somebody that knows what they're doing. They're not.
All things being
they're
equal,
just not.
They're not.
All things being equal, a woman cannot beat a man. The Olympic soccer team that won the gold medal and got beat by a middle school soccer team of boys.
That crazy?
It's this. Crazy. They're not even close. Okay, I mean Leah Thomas. Okay,
it's a dude.
365th or something like that with men. And dominating the females.
Do you remember? I think it was John McEnroe that said Serena Williams would be like ranked 300.
Pocahontas fought like she was Black Widow, right?
She kind of did.
Although, if anybody from my birthday wants to hire Gina Carano to beat me up, please do.
Well, that new movie she was in, Gina Carano was in. I haven't watched it because it's behind the paywall. I might watch it.
The Western one, yeah.
The Western, right?
Yeah.
Terror on the Prairie, right?
Yeah, I want to see it, but they need to release it onto like DVD or Blu-ray or something.
Yeah, they really do. They really do. I guess they probably will do that as soon as the money's not, the streaming money's not as big.
Maybe, but then again, they always keep this shit on their platform. They don't want to release it because I've been wanting to watch What Is a Woman for like a while, and I'm just like, I'm over it, bro.
Hello, Genuine Comics. Hey, Dave Brink.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
Wait, you don't know what a woman is yet?
No, I do. I just wanted to watch the documentary.
you know what I'm talking about.
What a woman is. Let me tell you.
I can't remember what was that. I saw a little bit a while ago. It'll come to me. The
Gina Carano movie that I remember that I was really impressed with was her first movie.
Yep.
Haywire. I'm like, what the heck? She has charisma, right? I don't know where people get that from, but she has it, and she has skill. And by the way I went through it one day and I looked at how they arranged. There's a scene where she's up on the top of the buildings, and she's running from people, and the way that they arrange the frames with all the architecture is really gorgeous. And I remember everything came together in that movie. The only thing
she's a former MMA fighter too.
Yeah, right. Does anyone know what a woman is? Or more importantly, are any of us biologists? Nope, we're not. Nope. Haywire was great. Yeah, it was a good movie. But the thing about it is when you watch her in those fight scenes, she knows how to throw a punch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can see because she's following through. She's got the snap. She knows how to throw a punch, and so it makes it okay. It makes it conceivable that this woman, like there was this one where I was watching this video of this woman who's like a big burly woman, right? And she was like trying to slap this guy around, and he had finally had enough, and she had been like just beating on him, right? And one punch laid her out, and then he walked off.
Yeah, but
and it
don't
just like took one punch to lay her out.
Cooper, don't you know that women don't hit men? Don't you know that? It's always the other way.
You're not allowed to hit women, right?
I mean, women just will never lay their hands on.
Chance to watch it, yeah. You probably should. You probably
men.
should. Right.
You know, there's that scene. There's that scene from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood that I think all men might relate to once in their life.
Right.
Where he's on the boat and he has a scuba mask on, and his Brad Pitt and his wife is saying, "You're a loser. This place is shitty. I fucking hate you." Dragging him down, and he's sitting there with a spear gun pointed at her, kind of, right? And then you learn that he accidentally killed her or something.
Yeah,
and I'm telling you, man. You know, women
air quotes accidentally.
I mean, they never said in the movie what really happened, but you're like, women can cut men to pieces, no problem.
Yeah,
especially if you're, you know, and I mean, take physical wounds. Who gives a shit? This whole thing of coming home to a woman tearing you to pieces like that. Yeah. I mean, that's got to wear on people.
Oh, I know. Yeah. I know. I had a woman who was supposed to be my mother figure who spent the better part of 20 years tearing me down every chance she got. And, and I still had the wounds from it, you know.
Sure.
And she's not very intelligent, but she just knew instinctually the you know, the look of disgust at me or just like just offhand comment like I wish it was such and such instead of you or something like that, you know. And it was just like this stuff like constantly over the years. And she just did a number on me. But it's I mean, but
angels. What are you talking about?
I know.
Don't you know?
Well, I mean, there's this one guy that in our acquaintance, you know who I'm talking about if I told you, Aaron. But he was like, he was this lady had spent all of the COVID lockdown telling him that he was sickly, that he was like broken down, he was like you know, that he was just like, you know, there's nothing to you, whatever, you know, just spent the whole entire COVID lockdown in his head, right? And and then he finally, you know, she cracked his ribs more than once, right? And finally, it took him to the hospital. He had to go to the emergency room, which in Canada is such a thing because it's socialist medical system, you know. But they finally got him in there, and they had discovered that she had been going into. They didn't sleep in the. She was like in the same building as him, but not in the same place. But she had a key to his apartment. And they determined that somebody had been coming in and basically sitting on his chest while he slept because he had a bruised sternum, but was bruised from the from underneath the sternum. So somebody had been like applying pressure to his chest. And near as they could figure, she must have been coming in the middle of the night and sitting on him.
What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. But she had been doing this for the better part. I mean, the whole entire COVID lockdown, he couldn't see his family because it's Canada and all this other stuff. And it was just like, I mean, this did a number on him, man. But
you know, here's the thing.
You know what? If he were to try to take her to court in Canada, there's no way in hell he would ever get anything out of it.
Oh, sure.
Nope.
He probably couldn't even get a restraining order against her. You know.
If you find a woman who is direct and straightforward, and that turns out to be accurate, you have got a gold mine. Because women, sometimes women are really smart, and they are, from a young age, they learn how to think in multi-layers.
Right.
At least compared to us.
And manipulate.
Well, because we're like, hey, my name's Matt. What's up? What do you want? Okay, I'll get that. You know, we're really like simplistic creatures, right?
Yes, we are.
You know, and
we're like dogs.
We're like dogs, you know, and they're like cats. You know,
feed us, pet us, put cartoons on.
Yeah, right.
We're
occasional little bit of, you know. I don't care how you treat me, just occasionally, you know.
Don't hate me because I'm simple.
Slide over.
That's all I want.
Oh no.
I think somebody pointed this out. I think it might have been Jordan Peterson, but he says if you look at the expectations, the expectation gap, okay, men's expectations of a female companionship is here. Females' expectations of male companionship is here.
Yep.
And so that's where the gap is, you know, because guys are like, hey, you know, I mean, you very rarely find a guy that's like, oh, you're not good enough looking for me, you know. Most of the time, a guy's like, oh, does she put up, you know, or is she good looking? Does she have does she have the assets, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You'll only find that with like people that are really rich because they can afford to have beautiful women and fly them out and all this shit.
Right.
But that's not everybody.
Yeah. That's why it's so messed up. That's
people
why it's
can
so
also
hard.
afford the spear guns to get rid of her chum.
Right.
That's a good what? $2,000-$3,000?
Right, exactly. That's so
More than
messed
what I
up.
got.
That's why it's so hard to trust nursing homes from the abuse our loved ones could be subject to. Yep.
That's wise guy is totally true, man.
Well,
you don't know what's going on in those places.
Well, I heard somebody say this the other day, and it's made so much sense. He's like, after a point, he says, if this was about health, if all the shutdowns and everything was about health, then at a certain point they would have said, okay, this person needs contact more than they need to be safe from COVID. Okay, because there's elderly people that needed contact that never got it. I mean, they were talking about that this guy who was this was it was this, okay. His story was Jim Brewer was telling his story, okay, and he was talking about that there's this guy that he knew who was like a real Trumpian, you know, he like had the Trump things in his yard and everything, and he went into the hospital with a COVID case, and it was like really bad. But while they were in the hospital, they didn't give him his blood pressure med, and it caused him to have a stroke. And instead of letting his family come see him, they were basically ready to pull the plug on him, saying he was brain dead. And they wouldn't let his family come see him. They were going to let them pull the plug by a camera. You know, by live stream. They weren't even going to let him come in to see him pull the plug on him. But a guy who basically was his friend insisted on seeing him. You know, insisted to the point where he basically drug security guards to get in there. Wow. And he says, and as soon as he heard his voice, he reacted.
Sure.
And they were ready to pull the plug on this man. You know,
I'll tell you something. If you ever learned anything from the last couple of years, personally, I do not trust the government, and I do not trust the medical industry.
No, you shut up. You don't trust the government.
The other thing too is that the story you just described, which is pretty crazy, right? You go all that for something where you don't even know what COVID is.
Right.
Show me under a microscope. That is it. Point to it and say that's it.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen it myself.
Right.
So you're doing this to these people, and you're like, you know, for what? Prove it.
Right.
I mean, people die of the flu all the time.
Yeah.
That is how old people die. Right. I mean, and they go downhill from it. And so you go, just show me that thing under a microscope. Prove it to me.
Right.
Let independent people look at it and go, we agree. That's what that is.
Well, the thing about it is I've had like the last two strains that have come through. Okay. And basically I thought they were colds. Honestly, I thought they were colds. And then suddenly I'm told that I can't go back to work until I get a test, and I got a test, and son of a gun, it was COVID. Right. But the thing about it is it is so mild that I actually carried to church with me, thinking I was just had a cold. Because I'm like, this is not COVID. This is just a damn cold, you know? And just feel lousy for a couple of days, you know? You have congestion. It's just a damn cold. And at this point, that's all it is.
I'm really glad that you took the test, because that really gives me assurances that that's accurate. That what you had was right. To me, that's psycho. You go, you're going to take the psycho test from the psychotics that run the government, and you're gonna go, oh, okay, I have it or I don't have it. That makes no sense personally for me. Yeah. Everybody's got to make their own decision. That doesn't make sense to me.
Well, I got the PCR test that I got they insisted I couldn't go back until I got like the long form one that goes to the lab or whatever. Instead of getting the results that day, they wanted me to take the one that went back to the lab or whatever. And so,
fuck that.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm sure you know this, but you know that the guy who invented the PCR test said you can't use it to do that. You know that, right?
I know. I know.
So I mean, it's kooky, crazy world.
I know.
I mean, unless I'm bleeding to death or I'm in a car accident with metal in my neck, I'm not going to the hospital.
My Durant Craig, my roommate, went to get a biopsy on his lung. He has like a spot on his lung. Went to get the biopsy done, and they insisted on him doing a COVID test that day, and they said he had COVID, and so he couldn't get it done. And he's like, I might have cancer in my lung. That's a little bit more scary to me than a common cold, which is what COVID is at this point. And so they sent him home. He had to reschedule. They wouldn't do it.
Really?
And we were in that medical facility that used to be a bustling place, and it was completely antiseptic. There was nobody in the hallways.
Well,
there was nobody there
nobody
to
in
visit.
The hallways because they have to do those music videos where they dance. I mean, how can you run a hospital unless the people are dancing around?
That's right. That's right.
That's number one.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to keep those. You got to keep the hallways open for the dance routines.
I mean, it's a must. Yeah. It's vital.
All right. I love going to the hospital.
Oh, okay. I have trouble trusting the tests because
the only
many
way
of
I
them
can get
are false positives or false negatives. I'm not thrilled with the idea of them digging around and damaging my brain with a long stick. Yeah, that's
oh my God.
Oh my, yeah. The 8-foot long Q-tip to the brain.
Yeah.
And it still feels like it's in there after they pull it out.
Yeah, you feel it in there. Yeah.
Now I know what a virgin feels like.
Oh no!
Right.
Wow, that's a little intrusive. Anyway.
I would like them to try to do that to Mark and then go boom, just smack him, and they rock back.
Well,
away from me.
I'll tell you, it's funny though. When I took that PCR test and I had to do the thing myself, I went like way up there, like they usually do, and then I put it in there, and she's like, "Oh, thank you so much for doing that yourself." He says, "So many people we have to get them to do it again because they didn't go far enough back." I'm like, well, that's great. How do you talk people into doing that? Oh, you have to stick it back further. Here's another one. You have to stick it back further.
Can I ask you a question about it though? Because did you take it home and do it?
No, I did it right there in the view of them.
Okay.
Yeah, put it in the slot. It was like CVS drive-through. I had to do it myself in my car. Are you kidding me? They're not gonna let you take anything home. Yeah.
I feel sorry for people that have jobs where they have to do that because you're forced.
Yeah.
To bend.
Oh, I didn't even tell them that Craig was, they had contract tracers like hounding him for days, and we never answered any of them. I didn't answer any of them back then because it's none of their damn business. I don't get.
You mean they were prompting you on their phone?
No, they were like trying to get us on the phone to tell them where we've been and who we've had in contact with.
Exactly.
Did you go like that?
Yeah, we just didn't. We didn't respond to any of it. We got emails, we got text messages, and we got phone calls.
Really?
So yeah.
Well, yesterday I was climbing up my ass. And then the day before, I was drinking blood from vampires. So, I mean,
you're a high risk. You're a high risk guy. You're high risk.
You know what's crazy too is that the whole thing it enabled all the busybody people. to just become more busybody with us.
Oh, these people have been hired to do this contact tracing, and they are aggressive as shit, man. Because that's their whole entire job, and this is going away now, and so they're getting really aggressive with it. I'm surprised they didn't send somebody to our door. The tests from home kits supposedly are less intrusive, and you don't have to reach quite as far up. But I've never done the test myself. I have no plans to. Oh, we got when we heard that free kit thing was ending, we decided to get some home test kits. So we ordered them. We got like 6 of them over there. So just so before he goes in the hospital next time, he can say he already tested himself. See how far that goes.
There was that guy who was one of the leaders from an African country, I forget, and they sent out COVID tests that had like pineapple in it and a bunch of like Coca-Cola.
Right.
And I don't know how they did that, but some of them came back positive.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then he was doing push-ups. This guy who old, he's doing push-ups on this, and then they killed him.
Ah, okay.
Oh, he's gone. Yeah.
All right. On that note, before we go too far,
all I can say is, Bruce Lee, where are you now?
Right. Yeah. LOL, how do you keep people from meeting the test? I don't know. Out.
You got me there, buddy.
All right. Okay, on that last conspiracy theory and that really negative note, we'll call it a day. All right. Okay. I'm sorry. Okay. All right. They allegedly killed him.
He's living with Elvis.
All right. Allegedly.
Michael Jackson. They're all together.
All right. Okay, guys. All right. That's been Cooper from Telepathic Bunny Comics. Thank you for showing up today. This has been Aaron from Wolfsbane. This is Joker Fan, also known as Will from Creators Outlet Podcast. And that is Shadow Punk, known as Shadow Punk. AKA Shadow Punk. All right. All right. That's all I got for the day. Y'all have a good afternoon. Bye.
Take care.
Tell me what's on your mind.